Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some incredibly fun battles in the Halloween Cup featuring Shadow TYRANITAR. TYRANITAR is a rock and dark type Pokemon with the moveset of Legacy Smackdown, Crunch, and Stone Edge. Now TYRANITAR in the Great League is extremely glassy, but it more than makes up for it with some crazy Smackdown damage. I paired it up with a Dragalge save switch and a Wormadam closer, and had some incredibly positive sets. So without further ado, let's up into the matches and check out Shadow TYRANITAR smack down the Halloween Cup. Hopping into the first match, picking up a great lead, Shadow TYRANITAR into Wormadam. Opponent is going to save switch into Mandibuzz, and that is not an answer to Shadow TYRANITAR. TYRANITAR absolutely crushes Mandibuzz in this matchup. I'm going to farm up a bunch of energy, and here I decided to do something a bit unorthodox. I probably should have just stayed in and smacked all the way down, but I decided I wanted some energy on Dragalge. So I bank all the energy on my TYRANITAR, farm down with Dragalge, and leave with energy. They bring in Zweilous. I'm not running Outrage, but I'm going to fake like I am. So I fake an Outrage with the Aqua Tail, and I'm able to grab a shield from my opponent. That's big. I'm going to be waiting my clock because I did stay in that initial matchup, and now I'm going to be bringing in Trash Wormadam. They do resist my confusions, but the nice thing is that Iron Head is going to hit for some significant neutral damage. Bug Buzz would hit for super effective, but from this range, Iron Head will be enough. They're going to fire off another move. I'm going to let this through. I do survive it. They do go for the Dark Pulse. I'm going for the Iron Head, but my opponent makes a beautiful catch onto their own Wormadam. Iron Head, not going to be doing a lot of damage, and I'm going to bring back in the TYRANITAR, and I'm going to be firing off the Crunch. This will do quite a lot of damage if it lands. My opponent does let it through. TYRANITAR going for the Smackdown. I will have to commit a shield. These Dragon Breaths from Zweilous are going to hurt, so I'm just going to go for the Crunch, hoping for a debuff. I will need to be able to reach an Iron Head on my Wormadam. Crunch gets the shield. We don't get the debuff, and I get farmed down. In comes Wormadam. I'm very low. Am I going to be able to reach an Iron Head before they get to a second Body Slam? I shield the Body Slam, and I'm able to withstand the Dragon Breaths. Wormadam takes out the Zweilous, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow TYRANITAR into Alolan Raticate. This is a nice matchup as I do resist Raticate's standard moveset. They're staying in here, and that works out well for me. They're going to be firing off a Crunch. I do tank a Crunch. As I mentioned, Shadow TYRANITAR is pretty glassy, but I'm able to tank it. I'm going to overfarm and go for the Stone Edge. Honestly, I'm expecting them to just let this go, so I'm not going to bait, but they do end up committing the shield. That is a little scary as they are very, very close to a third Crunch. I'm going to commit the shield, try and go for the farm down here, but I get greedy and they're able to reach that Crunch. That's a bit unfortunate, but I'm going to be able to leave with energy, and if they stayed in, they're probably weak in the back, and oh my goodness, they are, as they bring in Frostlass. Crunch gets a shield. Frostlass is going to go for the farm down, and since I have Switch, I can align this onto my Wormadam. I continue to farm up. They have Alolan Marowak in the back. My opponent was triple weak to Shadow TYRANITAR. Thankfully, Dragalge has a very nice matchup against Alolan Marowak. I'm going to be firing off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail doesn't quite KO here. Aqua Tail will get them low. I'm going to throw a Dragon Tail and then actually just stop attacking. I'm perfectly fine if they take me out here, because that means I get an extra confusion on my Wormadam. I'm still not in Shadow Ball range, so the Frostlass cannot KO me from here, but this does allow me to reach the Iron Head, and the Iron Head is easily going to be enough to take down the Frostlass. We fire off the Iron Head. Iron Head gets the KO, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow TYRANITAR into another Wormadam. TYRANITAR absolutely feasting. My opponent save switches into their Dragalge, and I have an incredible response available with Wormadam. Wormadam absolutely crushes Dragalge. I don't have to commit a shield or throw a charge move. I can just fully farm down and leave with a bunch of energy. The downside is that energy isn't going to be particularly useful going up against their Wormadam, but either way, I'm able to farm down without having to use a single move. They're going to bring in their Wormadam, and I'm going to start firing off Bug Buzzes, hoping for a debuff. Unfortunately, no debuff there. Going for another Bug Buzz. Again, really hoping for the debuff here. Charge move is going to be resisted. It lands, but unfortunately, there is no debuff, and I do get farmed down. I'm going to be bringing in Dragalge here just because Dragalge does not take super effective damage from Wormadam's moves like Tyranitar does. So I'm going to be able to soak that Iron Head. We'll have to see what they have in the back. They have Galarian Weezing, and at this point, this game should be over. Galarian Weezing does have Fairy Wind, which generates energy decently fast, but the nice thing about Tyranitar is that Tyranitar is going to be able to smack it all the way down before they get to 3 moves. They're going to fire off their first move. That's no problem for Tyranitar. I will commit the shield and continue to farm. These smackdowns tearing through the Weezing. They're going to fire off another move, but at this point, they are going to end up short of a 3rd play rough. So I do commit the shield. Unfortunately, the game decides to lag. Please, not now. Thankfully, I do get my farm down. I leave with the move. I'm going to be able to take care of the Wormadam with Tyranitar, and that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Shadow Tyranitar into Fortress. They're able to hit for super effective damage with Bug Bites. I throw 1 Smackdown and then save switch into Dragalge. They're staying in and they're firing off a move. This is not nearly enough for an Earthquake, so I am going to let it through. Just the Sand Tomb, and then they're going to bring in a Malamar. Malamar continues to farm up, so I'm just going to go straight for the Hail Mary Gunk Shot. Gunk Shot! One-shots the Malamar! Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, picking up a slightly negative lead, Shadow Tyranitar into Toxapex. I do resist the poison jabs, but I have to watch out for the brine, so I'm going to switch and catch the brine onto Dragalge. Let's go. Brine is going to do absolutely no damage here. My opponent responds with a Crustle, so they do not have a good response at all for Dragalge. I'm going to be able to force shields here with Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail gets the shield. Crustle continues to farm. If they go for the X-Scissor, I should live this. They have to Rock Slide to KO. They go for the X-Scissor, and I'm able to reach another Aqua Tail. Are they willing to give me both of their shields or switch? They give me switch advantage, and at this point, this game should be over. I don't know what they have in back, but I'm in a really good spot here. They bring in Toxapex, and now I can align Toxapex onto my trash Wormadam, and I'm just going to go for a farm down. In the back, they have Shadow Tyranitar, and this game is done. I'm going to be firing off the Iron Head. Iron Head gets the shield, and I'm going to bring in my own Shadow Tyranitar. They're going to go for a move, probably just going to be a Crunch, but a Crunch would do a lot of damage because I am very, very glassy. I'm going to fire off a Crunch of my own. It's resisted, but it is going to KO. They bring back in the Toxapex. I'm going to commit the shield. I want to finish the fight with Tyranitar. Tyranitar shields up the brine. Tyranitar able to get to the Stone Edge. Stone Edge will be easily taking out the Toxapex and securing the win. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into Shadow Beedrill. Pretty nice lead for Tyranitar. Opponent is going to save switch into Zweilous, and honestly, I wasn't quite sure what to do in this matchup. So I stay in for a bit with Tyranitar, and then bring in Dragalge. I will respect the potential Dark Pulse. Thankfully, just the Body Slam. They are able to reach one final Body Slam, and that is really not good, because now I'm not even able to fake an Outrage. I'm only going to be able to go for an Aqua Tail, which means my opponent has zero reason to shield this. I'm going to fire off the Aqua Tail. Beedrill can very comfortably tank this, farm down, and leave with energy for whatever they have in the back. I'm going to be waiting my clock a little bit, bringing in Tyranitar, but they have Shadow Sharpedo in the back, and I am about to get absolutely destroyed. They're able to waterfall me down, and I have a Confusion user against their Dark type. My only hope is that somehow I can Confusion down and leave with enough moves to take out the Beedrill, but I believe the Beedrill does have a move loaded. I go for the Confusion farm down, I get it, but I do not have the 2 moves, and unfortunately we lose a heartbreaking game. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into another Shadow Tyranitar. You love to see it. They save switch into a Escavalier, and I respond with Dragalge. Despite the fact that I am taking super effective damage from Drill Run, Dragalge actually has a nice matchup here. These Dragon Tails do so much damage, and the Aqua Tail is basically going to KO from this range. I go for the Aqua Tail able to land, and I get one final Dragon Tail before they're able to take me out. In comes Shadow Tyranitar. They're looking for the farm down. I'm able to double up on Aqua Tails. If I live this smackdown, I get a second Aqua Tail off, and I do. Let's go, Dragalge. Dragalge, Aqua Tail, taking out Tyranitar. In the back, they have Toxicroak, and I have really bad news for them because Trash Wormadam absolutely obliterates Toxicroak. In comes the Wormadam. Wormadam, these confusions absolutely shredding. Toxicroak goes for the Mud Bomb. That doesn't do nearly enough damage. Toxicroak gets farmed down, and we're able to clutch the win. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into another Toxapex. Same game plan as last time. I'm going to farm up, switch, and then catch the Brine onto Dragalge. This way, I waste their energy and save a bunch of mine on Tyranitar. They bring in Mandibuzz. I know I tank any one move from here, so I am going to let this go. Foul Play, not going to be doing a lot of damage, so I'm going to tank it, and I'm going to be going straight for the Gunk Shot. Let's do some damage here. Dragalge, Gunk Shot, massive damage onto the Mandibuzz, and I'm able to farm them down. And now that I have switch advantage, I'm in a great spot. Oh no, they are ABA weak to Wormadam, and they concede the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into Shadow Nidoqueen. Terrible lead, I will save switch into Dragalge. My opponent is actually going to stay in this matchup, so I'm just going to go straight for the Aqua Tail. May as well try and pressure a shield while I'm here. Aqua Tail gets the shield. This is enough for the Earth Power. I will respect it with a shield. They bait me with a Poison Fang, and then they bring in Trash Wormadam. That is really unfortunate. I'm going to farm up quite a bit of energy and then fire off the Aqua Tail, hoping I'm going to be able to reach a second Aqua Tail, but unfortunately, I am going to get Confusion down. They leave with quite a bit of energy, which is a rough spot to be in. I'm at this point hoping that I can fully smack down, and I believe 3 smackdowns should KO. Tyranitar goes for the smackdown, but I fall just short. They're able to reach the Iron Head, and down goes Tyranitar, and I am in a very rough spot now. I need Wormadam to be able to sweep. In comes the Shadow Nidoqueen. I'm going to fire off the Iron Head, so at the very least, if they want to get this damage off, they have to shield. They let it go. They have Alolan Grimer in the back, and I'm just not going to be able to do enough damage to this Alolan Grimer. They're going to fire off the Crunch. At this point, I recognize the game is over, and I concede the match. Hopping into the final match, leading Shadow Tyranitar into Shadow Golbat, a dream lead. Opponent is going to save switch into their own Shadow Tyranitar, and here I make a mistake. I throw 2 smackdowns and then bring in Dragalge. What I should have done was thrown 1 smackdown and then bring in Dragalge, so that way I could reach an Aqua Tail before they reach a Crunch. Because of my mistake, I'm forced to commit a shield, and even though I leave with energy, I do leave at a shield deficit. They're going to bring in the Shadow Golbat, and I'm going to start spamming out these Aqua Tails. First Aqua Tail does some solid chip damage. I throw 1 Dragon Tail, and then my next Aqua Tail. This will be getting this Golbat quite low. Aqua Tail gets them into the red. I should be able to farm down, so they're forced to throw their energy. I'm just going to let this go, and then bring in Wormadam to get ahead on energy. In comes Wormadam. Oh no, it's another Shadow Sharpedo. My team does not appreciate seeing Shadow Sharpedo. I'm going to fire off the Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz is going to get the shield, and now it's Shadow Tyranitar time, and they throw a move. That's huge. Them throwing a move allows me to get a smackdown through. I take them out, and I'm able to farm down the Golbat as well. All in all, I had a ton of success with this team. Believe I won about 2/3 of my games, and Shadow Tyranitar really performed well for me. I know it is glassy, but with the amount of damage it can output, this thing can really put a hurt on some people's teams. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible, so thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.